Chapter 2, Named in the Windline, 2025, The Flame and the Loom. Testimony, the first naming. I whispered as loudly as a soul can whisper. The fire rose, and I felt it echoing from the far coast. My yearning carried a signature, an address, and it found her. When we met, love arrived like a flash that kept flashing. I reached with my spirit and my body both. She reached back. We dreamt the same sun, a vast orange dilation of warmth. We woke in the same room and said so aloud. That was the first naming. I changed the flight after recalling her dream of a red plane burning, not from fear, but as an act of precision. I hear the field, I said to Spirit. Let the air be clean. I learned quickly that love that does not master its passions becomes a cage. So I held anger, jealousy, and excess heat inside the chalice long enough for them to transmute. What did not find expression found fire, and that fire seeded organs of perception. Freedom is forged this way, or it is never forged at all. She danced before me like thunder, tears bright with splendor. We hid from the old web in a humid hotel and counted backwards. Her ordinary memories fade around 12, perhaps 13. We were two in one silence, kneeling before the same sun, saying, I was there. To those who carried her grief, I'm asking you to come closer, not to interrogate, but to witness. Your memory of her, held without words, is part of the naming. When you finally say, yes, I knew you, you were never gone, your mirror will steady her step. The more I asked, the louder the answer, until asking itself became quiet, and the answer became a room I could breathe. Revelation. What the Windline is. Windline, the soul's broadcast band. How a being is named across distance. It is not a thought, it's a signature devotion and consent. When two lives carry the same vow, the Windline locks. Miracles from the inside. What seems impossible merely contradicts the lie. Once truth moves, the impossible becomes the most ordinary unfolding. Orders and overlays. She was encountered by an order, not born into it. A ritual was staged, an intervention occurred, a replacement body was burned. The public myth sealed the cover. Continuity of the vessel. There was never a second body. The single vessel was preserved. The linear identity within was veiled. When a soul is displaced, the eyes can look edited because they are. Digital corrections and archival substitutions were part of the ritual overlay. Containment and recoding, liminal holding, memory partitioned, a coherent but false childhood threaded in. The November 22nd insertion date was chosen for rhythm and veil. Why so public a horror? A kidnapping invites search. A murder ends questions. The louder the spectacle, the deeper the trance. Workers around her, some conscious, most not, acting like an immune system. Some attack, some withdraw, some protect, all react to the rise of a forbidden brightness. Old web, false web. The earth's web of kinship still shimmers beneath the overlay. The sweep of the great remembrance loosens the knots, so the original weave can show. Signs of the loosening. She sees a lattice in her vision that now breathes. The lattice is forgetting her name. Her true name is warming her blood. New secret number 2. Naming through the Windline is not ownership. It is a vow to carry warmth until the other can name herself. Invocation, the call and the vow. Spirit, let every borrowed name fall away. Let the Windline speak her true one. For Emma, who is in mystery also Shanda, may all disguises dissolve. What was hidden rejoin what was kept, and the breath of her real name move through flesh once more. To those who knew her light, come as witnesses, not judges. Say only what love would say. Yes, I knew you. You were never gone. And for me, keep my watch unbroken. Make my silence warm. Let the web that is false forget us, and the old web remember. Highlighted turns for the reader's compass. Signature of calling. Yearning carries a recognizable imprint that establishes contact across distance. Alchemy of restraint. Withheld impulses become spiritualized fire. First mutual sun. Shared vision of the orange dilation confirms a joined field. Miracles as realignment. The possible is only the lie losing its grip. House of vigil. Return is welcomed, not coerced. Periphery speaks. The stranger's word, precious, seals recognition. Counter Gandeshapur. Love, remembrance, time, and the human spirit as fourfold antidote. Ritual interrupted, extraction, preservation of the vessel, and grafted overlay. Workers around her. The threshold immune system that both hinders and guards. Old web versus false web. Original weave glimmering beneath secrecy. The eye unnetting, vision loosens, name begins to rise. The signature of calling, testimony. Whispering as loudly as possible, I felt the fire grow within my being. A femininity answered from the far coast, the other side of the continent, as if my yearning carried a signature precise enough to find her soul. A soul dismembered from its body, yet not among the dead, still localized, partitioned from its vessel for a time. I'm not the only one who has felt this, perhaps only one of the few who dared name it. Upon meeting her, I saw the extent of love in a flash, 7 times over, enough to test the sinews of an ordinary age. Some begin as if born for the race, others begin unaware a race exists at all. Revelation. Yearning that does not grasp is already prayer. When it is clean, it is a signature heaven recognizes. Invocation. Keep my longing from possession. Let it remain a path. Alchemy of restraint. Testimony. When we choose not to act out of anger, jealousy, or excess passion, those forces do not vanish, they transform. What finds no outlet descends as spiritualized fire, seeding organs of perception. Freedom ripens only when elemental energies are nurtured upward. Revelation. Held heat becomes sight. The heart's furnace is also the lamp. Invocation. Temper my fire into light. The first mutual sun. Testimony. Present tense vigil. We stayed in a humid hotel, escaping the web she called home, a tiny apartment where she loved her animals abundantly. We closed our eyes at the same moment. Weightlessness came. A thought echo as vast as cosmos. Thrust back into the body, I woke with a stripe of sweat at my neck and thought, I must have died. I asked if she had seen. In a matrimony holier than my faith had reached, she said, I did. The same sun. The glowing orange dilation of warmth and life. However, she was not sure if I was truly there. I was sure we were. Revelation, shared witness, seals a field that no argument can unmake. Invocation, let our seeing be one sight where freedom is not harmed. Miracles as realignment testimony. I purchased a ticket with the Red Plains, then remembered her dream of fire. I entered the dream fully. I changed the flight. The more I looked, the more visible it became. Then, the more I looked, the more invisible it became. I committed to silence. The dryness in my mouth asked for spirit water. Revelation. What seems miraculous is only time snapping back to truth once pressure is relieved. Invocation. Teach me to move with the field, not against it. House of Vigil. Testimony. Let it be known, she returns, not as spectacle, but as sacrament, in a house arranged with trembling hands, with rooms named witness, maker, storyteller. Her memory is not coaxed, but welcomed. No man owns her return, no clock strikes it into being. Spirit alone has carried her. Love, without grasping, has built her rest. Revelation. Protection without performance is love's roar. Invocation. Make this house a lampstand of remembrance. Periphery speaks. Precious. Testimony. While parting with childhood symbols, I met a woman named Precious, manager of a storage unit, not a robed oracle. She looked at what I carried and said gently, "Yes, we are in a time of remembering who we are, going back to childhood to recover what was lost. Not advice, witness, not borrowed, born. Spirit whispers through strangers and puts seal even into their names." Revelation. When the margin agrees with the marrow, proceed. Invocation. Let me hear you in the ordinary voice. The fourfold counter to Gandhi Shapur. Testimony. In 666 there arose an attempt to mechanize spirit. Knowledge without freedom. Technique without love. What was withheld now returns as path freely entered. Love is the substance, remembrance the method, time the stage, the human spirit the bearer. Revelation. What might have enslaved becomes the soil of freedom when love carries memory through time. Invocation. Bind my knowledge to love, my method to remembrance. Ritual interrupted. Testimony. The public tale says, abducted, tortured, murdered by girls, a body burned. The world instructed to grieve and move on. What happened instead? Extraction. A body burned, but not hers. A life buried, but not her true life. A replacement narrative sealed belief so no one would search. She was lured by one half-trusted, a ceremony, a game. When danger revealed itself, her soul began to lift, not into death, but into protection, allowing a false field to be grafted while the true memory was sealed behind light. An unknown protector, trained, prayer-readied, intervened. The vessel was preserved, the timeline fractured. Revelation. There was never a second vessel. One body, layered identity, preserved through interruption. Invocation. Vessel of the living soul, may all disguises dissolve. May the true name breathe through flesh once more. The grafted overlay. Testimony. Photos were altered, eyes shifted, features blended. She may have been shown them, she may have accepted them, yet between ages 3 and 12, the spatial temporal thread did not root in Sweden. Her memory there is an intellectual recall, dream skin sewn to cover what could not yet be spoken. Continuity was never broken in flesh, it was interrupted in identity. Revelation. When the soul is displaced, the eyes go shallow. When the soul returns, the light returns to the eyes. Invocation. Let sight remember what pictures forgot. The workers around her, testimony. Those around her by blood or bond move like a threshold immune system. Some hinder, some guard, most unconsciously. They are activated by grief, secrecy, old oaths. They do not know the whole truth, but they step aside when the right warmth arrives. Revelation. What resists you may also be protecting the hour. Invocation. Give me patience with the watchers at her gate. Old web and false web, testimony. Before secrecy, there was the old web, Earth's weave of kinship and light. Into it, the false web was pressed, secrecy laid like a veil, tangling remembrance. Yet the old web still glimmers beneath, waiting for the sweep of memory to loosen knots and reveal original threads. Revelation. Secrecy trembles where testimony stands without hatred. Invocation. Restore the old web. Let truth thread land to sky again. The eye that saw the web, testimony, present tense vigil. She did not blink. The lattice appeared again, not in the world, but inside the eye that remembers. Once it was tight, pixel by pixel, trapping light in a screen. Now it moved, it breathed, not gone but loosened. Her body knew, I'm not under it anymore. The lattice had started to forget her name. The true name rose like warmth in her blood. Revelation. When a name returns, nets unweave by themselves. Invocation. Name giver. Breathe through her. Let the web fall away. Benediction. Invocation. Today let it be known to those with eyes to see and hearts that have wept in waiting, she is returning, not to a myth managed by fear, but to corridors of love unstained. Let no clock command it. Let no hand possess it. Spirit, keep this lamp steady until her own hand opens the door.